Hey, hey, hey! We have our experiment, our evenings experiment with commentating StarCraft in English just for practice. Now you'll be asking, which ones do we have? Which players did we choose for game number 4 of this evening? The question should go for Rainbow, but I can answer that there is PuMa on the bottom part of the map. So let's just see PuMa. Yeah, this is PuMa playing as Red Terran on the bottom left corner of Daybreak map. Now, PuMa goes for some proxy raxes. Let's see how this works on the other side. Now, this guy called NSH Sun, I don't know what that means, is in fact Creator, and you may have heard about Creator. If not, don't worry, he'll be displaying some really good gameplay for us today, so just stay tuned. Now, what we have from PuMa is a supply depot at the start. We don't really expect any surprises. The one of the things that can happen at this stage of the game is, will the Terran build a full wall or will he just go without a wall? But we see PuMa giving us some additional entertainment, and he builds really fast raxes around the corner of the map. Now, he probably won't be able to do much real damage with them, but just to put some pressure on his opponent on the early game, and that's really good, because you should notice that Creator has went for an extremely quick Nexus on his natural. Now, he probably goes for 1 gate fast expand because he already has fast expanded and he has only 1 gateway, so not too many options there. But well, the question is, will he be able to stop the pressure from coming? We see an Ooh, you cheesy bastard. Now we see PuMa going for an all-in or half an all-in. He also goes for an expansion behind that. Now that's something really crazy we haven't seen in a while. So I just wonder how PuMa will be trying to kill his opponent with so many workers giving shield, because workers act just as a regular mid shield, and now we have this one poor zealot cut up in the middle of all these workers. Now, okay, he shouldn't spend too much time here wondering. We have Stalker on the way, but this game seems to be pretty much to a close right now. No, Creator isn't giving up. He also backs up his workers. That's a really smart move. If opponent has sacrificed so many workers, why shouldn't I to defend that? If I defend, I will be able to be in a much better spot than the opponent, and that's something that Creator is doing right now. Workers are going after the Stalker. Stalker is trying to snipe the Marines. Of course, he snipes 1 Marine, but that's not barely enough. Another bunker going up the ramp, and another round of workers backed off here because workers are just faster than Marines. And it seems, a misclick by Creator, focusing his own building instead of the units of his opponent. Now that was just some nerve, and it seems PuMa will be taking out the expansion of Creator. Creator will probably be able to create some, well, Creator will be able to create, but anyway, he'll be able to produce some more stuff from this Nexus. No, it all gets sniped out by the bunker. A really smart positioning of the bunker by PuMa. Now in the background he already has an expansion going. He used his energy for mules, and he's going for more and more racks to finish off his enemy as fast as he can. But it seems Creator isn't that easy to be finished, and he already got rid of many of PuMa's units, so the situation isn't as dire as you would have thought it is. Just trying to do some damage to the bunker, of course, naturally, but the Nexus will be falling down. I don't really see it surviving. I think it is even focused by the people inside the bunker. These are not people, these are Marines. They have been trained to battle, and 2 Stalkers are trying to micro their way out from this tight spot, and they just maybe barely able to. The Nexus is being focused and will go down 99% sure, but this is really something tough. Yep, the Nexus will go down most definitely. Yep, and it's down. The rest of the Marines that were here, of course, will also need to go down. Oh, there was even 1 SCV. I was wondering why this bunker has been doing so few points of damage. We have a proxy pylon from Creator. another proxy pylon from Creator. I don't know what sort of a purpose is that serving, but okay. PuMa takes out the supply depot, even micros when he takes out that this supply depot. That's how good he is, and putting 2 extra bunkers in front of his base just to be safe. We have a pressure with lots of stalkers. Now this bunker will probably be finished just in time to be able to help him defend, and that was some really tight spot. This one bunker has to be cancelled, and now PuMa is on a tight spot with lots and lots of stalkers from Creator. That was a really smart move. He went for 5. Wow, he went for 5 gates, and he wants to just flood his opponent with units, and that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Now the question is, the real question is, will he be able to kill the enemy with that? Will he be able to kill PuMa with that? I don't think so. So he also goes for an expansion, another smart move. So these stalkers, there was a huge income of stalkers, and he could have produced another round more, probably even some more, but not that many. Because he was using all of the resources he had from one base. So instead of building another round of stalkers, he went for a quicker expansion, and he tries to rebuild his economy, which is a really smart move. Now let's see what PuMa does. He's just stacking. He has three racks, and he's building a starport. Now we have a reactor, so I expect there will be some drops incoming, or at least a medivac to support the army. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Now Creator is just keeping some of his units back, not to show them to PuMa, and PuMa may be expecting there is some more. There probably must be some more. Now we just need to ask ourselves a question: will this be enough to break the defensive line? There are 2 bunkers with some really nice force fields. This can be broken, but then we have 2 bunkers and some marauders on the high ground. Oh, a nice positioning of the stalkers, just trying to get as close as possible. Now more and more zealots and sentries being warped in. That's something really good. And will we have a drop? Yes, we will have a drop. So this will be a 2-sides attack. Now this looks really difficult to defend. Will PuMa back off his drop? No, yes he does, and he really needs to defend now because he's pressured so hard by these stalkers and zealots. Beautiful force fields allowing him to take out the bunkers. Now of course what PuMa does is he backs out all of his units back here. He may even try to load them into the medivacs and try to do something from the high ground. We have marauders and marines shooting back at this army, but they know, alright, we cannot go down as much as we would like to, and surprisingly we have another very big small victory for Creator. He just takes out his opponent base after losing his zone. So that just shows how much of a smart move was adding these additional gateways, because the opponent who went for fast expansion, hidden behind aggression, just wasn't able to defend as effectively as one would wish for. So a really big how do you say, I don't know how you say that in English, just thumbs up for Creator for coming up with the strategy. It worked really nicely for him. Now PuMa of course finds all the proxy pylons hidden around the map. That's good, that's what you should do, and he has so many barracks but not able to produce out of all of them because he spent so many resources, and he doesn't have that extra expansion. So out of these 2 players, Creator, who has lost his base very early, is in a much better spot at this point of the game, and he has a very good lead in supply. Now the whole question is, will he be able to use that lead? Will he be able to come out on top in the definitive game? Will he be able to surprise his enemy once again, or will PuMa come back? Because PuMa is also a player that we saw coming back so often. Now this medivac is a real baller. He has only 7 hit points left. That's... if I would be to travel by a medivac, I would probably go for one that has more health than this one, but hey, life stuff, you know, man has to make choices. PuMa has already rebuilt his base, really nice. He's creating more medivacs, but you can just see the superiority of Creator's army. Now, PuMa has some units in his opponent's base. A really good drop from 3 medivacs, that's more difficult to defend than a usual drop. A big warping, but now we'll see units getting back into the medivacs, and just some marines, poor blokes, being left out in there, and they don't have much of a choice, and medivacs are 1 man short, or at least 1 squad short, and we also have another attempt to drop some, but no, not so good as we would have wished for, but PuMa goes for it. Is it a good move? I don't know. In the background we see Creator creating another nexus, so he's going for a really big economy. PuMa is preparing for more and more drops, so that's really good, and basically the drops are the last thing that's keeping him alive. Without these drops he wouldn't be able to defend anything, and without these drops the opponent would just, you know, walk over PuMa, because the opponent has a better army. That's as simple as that. StarCraft is a game where just, you know, having more stuff wins you the game, if you're smart enough. Now a really nice drop, another drop. Stimpact units will do nice damage. They took 2 Stalkers, a really good trade-off. Some Zealots, but not too many. Now I'm just thinking, oh, another drop here, using some force fields. No, a Guardian Shield, but in the middle of nowhere, not really helping Creator's army. And PuMa is back out. Well, he has to back out, but he's trying to do as much damage as he possibly can. I wonder, would it be a better choice to go for an attack here? There was a small attack, but it was all handled by the workers. So you see all angry workers doing angry damage, and 3 more marines being dropped here just to finish off some workers, just a little bit, not too much, just some. And that's a really good trade-off. 25 workers killed against 23, that's a really good count for PuMa, and he's just getting back into this game, even having a lead in the supply, which is good, which is basically really good for him at this stage of the game. Now, what do we have here? We have PuMa trying to take out these rocks in front of his base. Is that good? I'm not so sure of that. You would prefer to have your opponent squeeze in here, so you can have a nice arc around the entrance and finish off as many of him as possible, you know, like in the 300 movie we also in the cinemas and loved so much. But no, PuMa decided, oh well, I'm not a Spartan, and this will be madness, not a Sparta. See, you had a bad joke there, bad joke, especially for you, dedicated to my audience. Very thank you for watching me doing bad jokes. Now, what we have this evening also is another drop incoming, a smart choice of medivacs. The one that is most hurt was left in the background. Luckily, he was just empty, so no units could be lost so easily. Now, I'm under the impression that Creator isn't handling this as good as he could, because defending drops with so many units is just difficult, and even a Colossi getting sniped, that was something. But Blink Stalkers will be able, or should be able, or not able to take out this drop, and PuMa with a beautiful micro coming a little bit on top, just enough to pay off for his drop. In the meanwhile, he's also doing an attack on the second front, and that's a really good choice of time for doing this. He could have done it a second earlier, but that was just 2 tens to do at the same time. If we take a look on the losses tab, PuMa is on top. PuMa is on top, so he induced more losses to his opponent than he really sustained himself. That's really really fantastic for him. We even have a 3rd base, more and more barracks with additions to well, not additions, these are called upgrades. Yeah, upgrades, with upgrades to his units, being research +3 for the shooting units, and +2 again for the shooting units, but for armor. So that's a really good spot for PuMa. Now let's just take a look about how the upgrades look for Creator. He's just a little bit behind with +2 and +2 starting. He has 4 more gateways morphing. He needs more gateways because he lost too many during the attack that PuMa did. He's also going for Colossi and High Templar. I'm not really sure how this will work out. If I was him, I wouldn't be producing Colossi. PuMa using a scan here to snipe an observer. a good move. Some may argue, oh, it's not worth it, but then how do you calculate the worth of opponent knowing what your army composition is? You probably don't. So we will not do it as well. Now, High Templars could be really useful if they had energy and they had Storm, but right now we have this just big bunch of Colossi, lots of Zealots supporting the army, but there are just so many Vikings here. He will be able to easily take out the Colossi. Stalkers are trying to do some damage, but a very smart using of this factory that tanks the damage, and you can notice that not too many of the Vikings were actually hurt. A very good snipe, one of the Colossi went down immediately, and we have an attack by PuMa to the front of the base, and he'll be able to cut his enemy's army in two. A really good positioning by PuMa, fantastic attack. He took some of his army out, but not that many. Ooh, a misstep by PuMa, and he lost too many units back there, and Creator is just getting back to the game, which he definitely should be doing. Not that he has any choice if he wants to win this tournament. I would like to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that we are watching IGN Pro League number 4, the best 7 matches that happened during that tournament, handpicked by our friend, by 2 friends of ours. One is Rainbow, the second one is Mr. Fatality Man. That sounds just so manly. Yeah, that sounds manly. Right, so PuMa will probably lose his... Oh, no. Or will he not lose them? Anyway, he's doing another big drop. Drops from 2 medivacs and from more than 2 medivacs are just difficult to defend. They are... well, if you just try to prevent any drop, well, drop from 1 medivac from happening at any of your bases, that's easy. You just leave 1 High Templar, a couple of charged Zealots. That's easy, simple. Anyone can do that. But when the opponent goes for drops from multiple medivacs, that just gets tricky to defend, and you don't know how many Stalkers you need to snipe these medivacs. You don't need how many High Templars you may need to snipe the medivacs, to do the feedback on them, and you don't know how many Zealots will you need to counter the army, the pure number of units your opponent will throw at you. Right, so we already see some ghosts with even personal cloaking device. That's fantastic for PuMa, and of course ghosts are something that you must have at this stage of the game versus Protoss. For those of you who are just beginning at StarCraft, I would like to remind you that EMP, one of the ghosts' ability, damages the shields of the Protoss, so that they well, it's like, you know, one ability that does half the damage in the battle. So a couple of good EMPs at the start of the battle and your opponent doesn't have half his life. So you must admit that is something. Now they have recently, well, not so recently after all, but they have nerfed this to not to deal so much damage, but it still does a significant amount of damage. So it's something every turn wants to have in his arsenal. We have another scan wasted just to get rid of opponent's observer. Okay, that's a decision. You can do that. Why not? A really nice blink to the front because there was not too much of a support from other units, but we see PuMa pushing forward here. Is that a good decision? Wasting most of his Vikings to get rid of the Colossi, but that was a really smart move. A couple of forced EMPs just inside the middle of Constructor's army, Creator's army, but PuMa looks so good with Protoss not having too much energy or shields on his units. The Zealots are nearly dead. Now PuMa doesn't have that many medivacs he could use for supporting his army, and in fact I really believe he should push here, but no, he doesn't do that. And he doesn't go for any drop after this, so that's not something I would expect. But okay, so PuMa will be trying to take it nice and slow. He won't be trying to force the issue, he won't be trying to force the argument right now. He'll be just trying to get ahead of the opponent. Now the problem is, Protosses are, well, you can say they are kind of good in the late game, so you want to avoid having the game transform to this stage of the gameplay where it is already, you know, the Protoss has all the upgrades. It has both Colossi and both High Templars. The only thing you can do right there is to drop a lot. Well, maybe not the only thing, because players surprise us constantly, but one of the things we see more often do other drops. Of course, Creator can see that, and the drop will be punished. Ooh, a very nice snipe by these stalkers. We also have some of PuMa's army moving through the middle of the map, but I don't think they'll do much damage. They are just trying to make sure that nothing gets created over here. We don't want to see any more nexuses, and there is an SCV train wasted here just to get PuMa an advantage with his army. At this stage of the game, when you already have a maxed out army, you may sometimes want to let go some of this stuff just to have more units on the field. Now, okay, that's a choice you can make. So let's just summarize for now. PuMa is at 3 free upgrades, the same as Creator, so both of these guys have been paying their attention in the classes. Now all of it will really come down to the micro in the battle, because when you have a good unit mix, when you have a good unit composition, and you have good control over your army, your macro as well, then what really decides in the battles is the micro of both of the players. None of them has an advantage, and what a fantastic game has this been, because well, both of these guys, I would like to remind you, have lost their main the natural bases at some point of the game, and you would have thought that's usually something that alright would classify as alright, GG, let's play another game. But no, not for these guys. Both PuMa and Creator are extremely determined to bring this to another level, and they do that really nice. Another proxy pylon being sniped out by the Terran. Now we can see PuMa is having a hard time deciding which angle should I attack from. I'm not really sure. Should I attack from this angle, from the top side position? Oh, he even sees, okay, he has a Nexus here. Oh, we have some really good snipes, but then not so good placement. Now, will the Protoss try and engage PuMa? No, he doesn't, and it may as well be well, it may as well be that PuMa will lose his army. Goes our cloak. Now the EMPs are not, yes, they went down, but they missed. Two of them missed. Lots of snipes going for sniping the Archons. A really smart choice, but the question is, ooh, such a nice storm. And that was a storm that changed the tide of the battle, because PuMa is forced to retreat now, and he even may lose all of his army. Wait, but no! It's Creator that's in retreat now. All thanks to the mighty Vikings, who are able to take care of the Colossi. And PuMa is trying to snipe this Nexus out. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but he's doing a really good job with his positioning, and the firepower he has from so few units is really something that changes the game at this stage, and he can just allow himself for such a high pressure with so few units. Now, the problem that begins to show here is the Charge Zealots, because Charge Zealots are able to tank so much damage, and they are able to deal so much damage while they get to their enemies. And in fact, PuMa has lost most of his units. Of course, he has even more incoming, all of them good and healthy with nice green health bars. We also see some Stalkers trying to do a little bit, just a little bit of harassment over here, but they didn't succeed that much in that task. Now, I think that a really strong aspect of what Creator has did was that one decisive storm. That one single storm has changed the whole battle and the whole game going forward, because otherwise PuMa would be able to just crush his enemy with what he had. Now the question is, will Creator include some more High Templars into his army? No, we see him going for a rather strange mix. Well, these Colossi just weren't able to dance that well, but he's going for a strange mix where he has so many Stalkers. I know that is for sniping Vikings, but we have saw that well, Colossi aren't doing pretty much any damage in these battles. Colossi are being nearly instantly sniped by the Vikings, which, by the way, are also upgraded to +3 for their ability to shoot down the Colossi faster. We had an attempt of a drop, but it didn't work out well, so PuMa just satisfies with killing one pylon off. And we have a Dark Templar here, but PuMa doesn't want to waste too much scan on it, so he just waits. And he builds more and more Ghosts. Ghosts are very useful. The Snipe ability is doing 50 damage versus Psionic units, and the Psionic unit is, of course, Archon. So he's able to snipe these Archons with his Ghost, and that was one of the recent changes in the patches to StarCraft 2. Now, what would I have to say about the position where PuMa got to? This is a really nice and long macro game. Both of the players have shown a ridiculous amount of skill defending. I don't think that this was a very smart scan. It just told your opponent, alright, I'm going for a drop. We have a, we have a very nice drop here. A Dark Templar here will probably solve the situation. No, there's a scan, so he will need more and more units. Both of Dark Templars going down, but not too many units left, and PuMa decides to go for a killing blow here. Now there will be one very good storm, damaging many of the units that PuMa has. Also one good feedback, but well, I must say, Protoss's army looks just so impressive right now, and PuMa does more and more damage with his drops. He killed quite a couple of units there, something that may be misappreciated, but yeah, he did it really well. Now the Protoss is already maxed out. PuMa is mined out. That's the problem at this stage of the game. It's a 37-minute long game. Wow, that's a really long game. Both of the players are just finishing the, well, they're coming to an end with the resources. They won't be getting any more unless they take additional expansions, but that's just extreme, and one of such extreme bases is being taken here. And of course, Creator is trying to force out the issue. Wow, really nice feedbacks, but then on top of that we have some really nice snipes on the High Templars. Now, one extreme expansion is this. This can be easily killed off by PuMa, but that's a stage of the game where you just need to take that risk, otherwise you won't be able to do much stuff and build much stuff later. Now, we have a big attack here, but also Vikings doing such a great job about with Colossi, and PuMa is just getting on Creator's nerve with his EMPs and force fields and snipes. These are snipes. These are called snipes. Remember. And he backs out. He needs to back out. He doesn't have that much of an army advantage. Well, in fact, he doesn't have any army advantage, but he just tries to kill as many Colossi as possible, because that will really be a pain in the butt on a later stage of the game. And yes, only one Colossi will probably be left out. Yep. There's one more Colossi and a couple more Vikings, but Protoss is just deciding for a final push or no. But Protoss, you just need to notice, he's constantly maxed out, and PuMa is just at the tip of his nerves right now. He just can't seem to find any miss in his opponent's defensive line, so he tries to go for it right now in the middle. That's not a very smart engagement up the ramp, but he does snipe one more Colossi, or half of it anyway, and he'll be just trying to defend as best as possible near this planetary fortress. He'll just need to be very smart about his unit placement, producing 2 more Ghosts, but not being able to afford that much more stuff. He's nearly mined out, and Creator, surprisingly, with his expansion alive. So that was something. By using his army around the map, Creator has forced PuMa not to be able to take down this expansion. Of course, PuMa takes a couple of selected guys and sends them on a suicide mission. Then we have another big battle in the middle. Zealots are trying to force, yep, and they managed to kill off the planetary fortress. PuMa in a very bad position right now. Attacks from a couple of different directions, and Dark Templars are doing so much damage on all fronts, but PuMa somehow still alive, doing a pretty damn good job with Micro, missing one of the MPs as far as I saw, but most of the Zealots will be brought down here. Now the question is, does he realize there are Dark Templars in the mix? In such a big battle you may miss them, and they have done so much damage, and PuMa is back against the wall, his whole army destroyed. Will we see a GG right now, or will PuMa try to come back to this game? I don't imagine how, because his income is just way below his enemies. Now we have a GG from PuMa, and this is how this is how creator takes a game from PuMa with some really nice moves. I must admit that some of the moves that creator did, they were just above the top. He tried to force his enemy not to be able to snipe the additional expansion, and see how big of a difference that made in the long run, because PuMa wasn't able to take any more expansions. He was trying to control the amount of expansion the Protoss has, but on the other hand, his income was running low. He used lots of mules earlier in the game, and he wasn't able to produce much more units with what he had. Now Protoss, what Protoss did is he was forcing these little battles at the top of the map, and thus he kept his opponent's army away from the base he had at the bottom, so that was really smart. Now let me get back to you with game number 4 of this evening. There are 3 more games to go, and we'll cast them all in English, because today is an experiment while I cast in English. So if you have a comment about how well I'm doing, just leave it on the chat. I'll be reading all of these, but for these of you who want me to switch to Polish, I'm sorry to say I won't be doing that today, maybe at the end of the show, but for now we'll be casting in English only. So please leave your comments, I'll read all of them, and let's just try to move to game number 3, and this becomes really exciting. The games are getting better and better and better, so a really nice job and really big grats going to Rainbow and Mr. Fatality Man. So I'll be back with you in a second.